as we went through this first academy, I could really see the value, because I mean, I can spend more time. We call it's not teaching sessions, they're immersion sessions. And what it is all done in Zoom. So it's kind of like I say, the Brady Bunch. We got everybody, their pictures up there. People are participating at the same time. And I'll take one subject and we'll do an immersion. We'll just talk about that subject the entire evening. We'll spend a whole night on shock absorbers, shock absorber theory and technology. I think suspension and geometry actually turned out to be like 3 or 4 weeks. I can't remember that, but that was a pretty deep dive. And all these sessions, immersion sessions, there's a PowerPoint that goes with it as I go through that. And all those PowerPoints live in the resource. Is it called the resource group or the?
We have a membership portal, their own membership.
Okay, actually, the Academy has their own membership portal, and within that is the resources and not only the episode lives in there, so they can go back and watch it multiple times. In fact, it lives in there for I think 6 months after the Academy. But so the whole video lives in there, so people can go back and review. But the important thing is the PowerPoint that I go through is a separate document that people can download from the resources and 3-hole punch them and stick them in a notebook. I've got my notebook. Part of when you sign up for the Academy, a couple of interesting things happens. First, I want to spend about at least a half hour with you on Zoom, finding out about yourself, your car, what you want to learn, what your aspirations are, what your goals are. That kind of helps me in working through the Academy itself. You got a nifty shirt, Speed Academy t-shirt or polo. Somebody asked Carrie the other day if they could buy an Academy shirt, and no, this is just for Academy people. And I send you a notebook that has a lot of divider spots in there, along with some graph papers and line paper. And you'll end up taking notes, downloading documents that pretty much fill up that notebook. If you listen to me, everybody knows how crazy I am about notebooks. I have notebooks for everything. I got files and files full of notebooks from the past. So those are just a couple of things. And at the end, you get certificate of completion that comes from completing the Academy. And of course, there's a quiz at the end. And every quiz question I ask is specifically sort of designed for the individual I'm asking the question to. The Academy is for anybody that wants to learn more. Now, if you've been through me for this week and you've gotten, some really good information through Carbs and Coffee, and that's you've gotten sort of what you need, and you feel satisfied with that, you're good to go. Take what you've learned and apply it. Go out and apply it. But if you're somebody that really wants to learn more, and that's how the Academy came into play, is that people want to learn more and more. They want to get more in my head. There's 40 years of stuff up there as far as experience. And if you want to learn more of what I've got in my head and what I have to share, what I'm willing to share, then the Academy is something for you. And it doesn't matter if you're a street guy or a track guy or a race guy. I mean, there's information in there for everybody. We had one, I think was it, I can't remember. We had one gentleman that was with us that pure street guy, and wasn't sure if he was going to do it. He said, I'd do it. He just got so much out of it because the information is information you can apply everywhere. Secondly, for our track guys, I guarantee they're going to go out next season and they're going to look so spectacular, and people are going to start asking them questions. How'd you go so fast? Or how do you know all this stuff? I mean, it's a really, I'm going to say a really good educational experience. It's a 16-week of immersion sessions. Now, the original Academy was supposed to be 12 weeks. It ended up being 14 weeks. In the middle, really had to pack a whole bunch of stuff in. It was actually going to be too much within a week, although our guys stuck through it and didn't complain. So it's 16-week immersion. It's a visual classroom format, which means it's in Zoom. I'm sure everybody by now knows what Zoom is after this pandemic, but it's like everybody's in the same room together with me. And then what we're trying to do is twice a month have a master class where we bring in professionals from my industry, experts that I know that will give like 20, 30-minute talk on their level of expertise. And then they open it up for questions where everybody in the academy can ask them questions, which ended up being a really, really popular part of the academy. And then, of course, we got the classroom format that, I'll go through and do my immersions. So that's going to happen one night a week for sure. Sometimes there might be an added night. And then we've got the group coaching sessions where it's at least twice a month, we're going to try to do group coaching, which one of our guys in the first one dubbed it the driver's seat. Somebody wants to jump in the driver's seat, we'll just talk about their car, if they're doing things they want to do. It's kind of like a personal coaching session, but with everybody there, everybody gets to listen and learn. And then the next person, everybody gets to listen and learn from them. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, we get the personal interview with me to start with, which is really important to me. Speed Therapy Academy Virtual Learning Resource Center. Sounds pretty snazzy. You get certificate of completion I talked about, the polo shirt, your notebook, and most of all, knowledge and information that you're not going to find anyplace else. So I think I tried to be speedy and fast because we want to get our special guests on. So we're ready for special guests. Okay. If we can have our special guests enter the room. But we've got Steve, Joe, Cliff, and Bob tonight. And hey, everybody. Carrie saw it earlier, and she said it was just so good to see everybody again because it started out in the beginning with like 14 people, just people, and by the end it's like almost a community. And so Carrie's actually working on setting up a separate Zoom room just for our alumni. I can call them alumni now, can't I? Just for our alumni to get together every now and again because they just enjoyed each other and within the program. So moving right along, I think what a lot of people would like to know, they're just thinking about this is, what did you get out of the academy, and what's the value that you see? So let's start with Steve. What do you think, Steve?
Well, sure, and thank you, Kenny, for allowing me to take a few minutes and explain what I gained out of the academy. First of all, as you said, this academy I think is well suited for anybody that wants maybe a performance car for the street or for a street and track or track only like my car is, or maybe a full up race car. There's something there, I think, pretty much for everybody, and particularly if you own a Mustang. I don't think there's a person on this planet that knows the workings of a Ford Mustang better than Kenny. And what an opportunity to learn from him. But I can tell you what I've learned. I mean, it's hard to explain in just a couple of minutes here. But one of the huge benefits is, last year I started tracking. I bought a 2013 Mustang Boss 302 Laguna Seca. And so right away, I think June, I started taking it out to the racetracks and with some of the high performance groups. And I get to the track and I didn't know what to do. Saw everybody else checking their lug nuts. So I thought, well, I'll start there. And of course, you check the oil in the car and fuel and whatever, and you go. And so through all this, I realized there's a lot more to this. And so when I show up at a track, I mean, right from the very beginning, I have a clear idea of what I need to do. It's a long list of things to get me pointed in the right direction in the morning. This all came out of this academy program. Also, I've learned that, there's a lot of things that I can do to affect the performance of the car. When I bought the car, it was set up. It actually been running in some of the Northern California tracks, and it was set up okay. But then I realized that there were several things I could do to improve the performance. So somebody before me spent quite a bit of time and money adding stuff to the car to make it perform better. And what I learned was that might have suited them, but there's quite a few more things that I could even make it handle and perform better. And so with that, also, I learned that there's a driving technique. And like Kenny says, there's a Mustang line. And it's kind of fun to learn that. And I would advise you that probably don't try that unless you've got a Kenny Brown suspension. and understand, or you might get yourself in trouble. But there is a little different way of driving one of these cars once they're set up right. So, but anyway, the bottom line is I have a far better idea, and I get to the track, the morning sessions, I get the car set up, I get the pressure set up, and throughout the day, and then I have a lot better idea and can have more fun at the end of the day because the car's set up, it's happy, and essentially I'm happy.
Cool. Yeah, I know that we've actually talked through some of the things on Steve's car, and we very quickly, from him explaining it to me, we figured out he didn't have enough spring in the back, which he's fixed, and it's going to be even better this coming season. So, okay, Joe Johnson's in the house. Joe's kind of a special guy to us. He's been around and part of this our program for a long time. All the way back, we set up a Cobra 2000R for him way back when, and he loved that car, and he is just a driving fool. I mean, he's I think Joe's now 83 maybe, and he still drives 2 or 3 track events a week with his GT350. So Joe, tell me, I mean, you've been with me a long time, you know a lot, but what all did you get out of the program?
You know, Kenny, it has been such a great experience. I swear, you know, like you say, I'm 83, and I started back when 2000 Cobra R, and that thing would dive down when I'd brake, and so I took it to Kenny, and he set that car up where it was fun. I ended up putting 17,000 track miles on it all over the United States with, you know, just every year I'd at least 2 new tracks. But anyway, for the Speed Academy, you know, I found out, you know, all the experience I've had, I still wasn't a really very good driver. You know, I was okay, but I found out I was doing a lot of things wrong, you know, with my driving techniques. And I went to Bob Bonner, and my son went with me. And at the end of it, he said, "How did I do it?" He said, "Oh, your son done really good. We're both at the same, but you developed a lot of bad habits." And that is so true. And I found out from Kenny, you know, I sent Kenny a video of me at Eagles Canyon, and I swear he showed me all the things that I was doing wrong. I wasn't using all the track. I was braking early. I wasn't getting in late braking and getting a straight line into the longest straight. You know, and I am so anxious. Next season, I'm going to go out there and I'll put some of them things to effect. The Speed Academy, you know, it was so much information that was just for brakes, springs, and everything. And what I really enjoyed almost more than anything was all them specialties that came in and talked about, you know, the tuning and the wheels and the tires and everything. You know, I mean, you know, you think you know a lot, but you get experts that's done it all their life telling you what it's really like. That is so great. And so the Academy, I would recommend everybody. I don't care how old you are, you can still go out there and have fun and get out of a car with a smile on your face, you know. And it's all about people, meeting people and enjoying people and having friends. I got friends all over the United States now. It's really been great. And Kenny, thank you so much for letting me be part of this academy.
Well, we appreciate that, and I can't wait to hear your feedback when you start getting back out to the track and driving again. I'm just really anxious to hear that. So
I'm going to send you a video again from Eagles Canyon, same one, and
okay,
see how it compares from the last time. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, that'd be really cool. I really would like to see that. Going around our Brady bunch tonight, let's see. Okay, Cliff, you're next.
The Brady bunch, I like that. You know, I've got a 2008 FR 500S Mustang, and I've had it for a little bit more than 3 years. And I've been track driving for 10 years. And with me, that's almost 200 track days. I get in 20 to 25 on a regular year. And some years like this one have kind of screwed me, but so I don't get as many drunk diving. But anyhow, I had this Mustang, and I, just like Joe and Steve and Bob and everybody else in the group, I wanted to be better on track. Not that I had red mist and wanted to beat anybody. I wanted the challenge is, it's the self challenge. And I wanted to be better as a driver. I wanted my car to be better. I wanted my tires to last longer. I was going through a set of fairly sticky BF Goodrich R1s in 4 track days, and they were corded on the inside edge. And they were always like that, 4 days and they're gone. So I had done like a lot of you folks did. I was listening to every one of Kenny's Saturday morning speed therapies. And when this academy came around, I thought about it and I thought about it. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to be better at what I do. And it's up to me to do it, because it's not going to be any magic pill that somebody else can do. So I did 2 things. One is I put the Mustang in a box and I sent it to Kenny. Oh my goodness. And we're changing it around a bit. And Kenny looked at it and said, there's some things that need to be improved on this car. And then the Speed Therapy Academy started, and we started off with the real common thing that everybody started out with is chassis, suspension, wheels, brakes, tires. Those 5 things you got to have right. You've got to have the platform to make it work. And Kenny's classroom, or the academy, went through each one of those things, and he added elements that I'd never heard of. I knew of some of the technical things that the car is supposed to be able to do, but Kenny actually went into the physics of it and explained it. He would talk about some of his ways of modifying front and rear roll centers, and then he would draw some lines to show us what he does. But then where the lines came to the secret point, there was a blank spot. So Kenny wasn't giving away any proprietary secrets, but his knowledge and his ability to share it with you is really cool. He would start talking, and he did it tonight a little bit, but when he started talking faster and faster, and he would start getting animated about things, I would start taking notes, because those were usually secrets he was talking about. He talked about, in fact, he mentioned it this afternoon or this evening, about why, if your temperature on the inside of your tire is this much hotter than the outside, or the inside's cording, this is what's wrong with the car. And there are several things, but you can start where Kenny gave us a place to start. And I know now that I had too much camera in the car, and the spring rates are wrong, and there's a whole bunch of other things because they all connect to each other. But so did I get value out of the class? It took us from a beginning to an end, and as we got towards the end of the class, Kenny started talking about putting it all together. And how do you, he actually went through some really detailed lists of how do you diagnose a car that's darting under braking at the end of a high-speed straightaway before you turn in. What causes that? And I had that issue. I was so, whoa, I got to pay attention to this. But Kenny went through tons of things like that with follow-up notes. So it wasn't like you had to take notes and you were in the dark. And those downloads he talked about, the PDFs from each one of our meetings, they printed off about a 3-inch stack. And that stuff is, Kenny says it, and I'll say it, Steve said it, and Joe said it, you can't get it anywhere. It's not in one book. It's not something you can talk to some Yahoo in the paddock and ask him, what do I do with tire temperatures? It's like on a cold day, if you ask somebody, what do I do with my tires? Half the guys will tell you you add air, and half the guys will tell you take out air. So talk to Kenny. It was a great class, and a couple things happened that I wasn't prepared for. There were 14 people, like the 4 of us you can see on the screen, and they were just people. They all had cars. Most of them had Mustangs. But by the end of the class, on the last night, when we turned off the computer for the last time, every single one of us thought, wow, I've lost a friend. I looked forward to turning the computer on 2 nights a week and sometimes 3 nights a week. And I was upset sometimes when these guys didn't show up one of those nights. So you get more out of this class than simply technical things. And I think I told these guys when you got the people on the Zoom room couldn't see us, but I'm going to come drive with Steve and Joe and Bob. I'm going to their tracks and just spend some time with them. And they've become that interesting to me. And yeah, it was a great class, great to do. Would I do it again? Yep. And actually tonight I actually was taking notes from Kenny again. So yeah, it was a great class, and I appreciate it all in many ways. And I can't wait for March to get here when I can probably get my car back on the track. So thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Karen.
Well, thanks, Cliff. I think you're probably sharing a lot of sentiments everybody has, and going around the clock. Bob, we're up to you.
So I don't have a whole lot that I can add to what the other folks said, but maybe I can say it in a little different way that will resonate with some folks. You know, I've taken a lot of technical classes as an engineer in my career, and they get very technical. And by the end of the class, you have a lot of information, but you don't really understand how to apply it. And I think, you know, I have an '01 Mustang that's been my daily driver for going on 20 years now since I bought it new. And it would be my occasional track day car. I try to do 2 to 4 weekends a year. And that's probably what I averaged. And most times I'd go out knowing that I had to, you know, I understood what I needed to do with tire pressures, but not exactly why and to what degree. There wasn't a whole lot I could play with on the car. I didn't have adjustable shocks, so I couldn't play with any of that. So pretty much I would arrive and play with the tire pressures a little bit and drive and see what happened with the car. So now I'm kind of at a point now with this car. You know, I'm trying to make it a little more of a track car and not so much of a street daily driver car. So my intention with the class was to figure out what sort of stuff would be useful to put on this car to make it a little more drivable and a little more fun on the track. So as everyone has said, we went through a lot of things in great detail, not really any serious mathematics and any of that stuff, although if you wanted to kind of dig into that, there's kind of a pathway to do that if you really wanted to. But it was a lot of practical knowledge that you could really use, and not only from Kenny, but from the other experts that he knows throughout the industry that he brought in for the master classes. And you know, myself being an engineer and working in an engineering a large engineering organization, I realized that there's always people that know a great deal about a specific subject, and you just cannot appreciate how much they know until you actually talk to them and realize how deep the knowledge can be and how useful it is just to talk to somebody for 15 minutes even to realize what's important to know and where you can get some good information that's reliable, because a lot of it, you know, there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of information that's not available on the internet. And if you look at advertising for product, you often don't get any good data on exactly what you're buying. It looks pretty in the pictures, but you don't really know what it is. So I think the real value to me in the class was to just separate out what is important to have and what to spend your time and money on, and have a good time driving your car.
Well, I appreciate that, Bob. And I really appreciate you guys all taking a little time out of your evening. Although it almost seems like that you wanted to do that just to get back together again. So we'll take that as a nod.
I'm game.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. That'd be great.
okay. Well, I think with that, again, I really appreciate you guys coming on.